Hello and welcome. Happy Tuesday to you. This is the Lion's Den. This is where we come to learn about neuroscience, health, wellness, longevity, and we come to love and support each other. If you're just arriving, please put your first name, where you are from in the chat. My name's Robert Love. I am a neuroscientist and I specialize in helping people prevent Alzheimer's disease with science. And I'm glad to be here with you. It is Tuesday, December 6th, and it's great to be here with you. So today we're going to be talking about brain supplements and health, or supplements and brain health. Why are supplements such a powerful tool for improving our health, specifically our brain health, and reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease? We're going to get into that. Today I've been talking a lot about magnesium. Why is magnesium so important? Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic processes in your body. Magnesium is involved in sleep. That's one of the most important processes in your body. It's involved in energy. It's involved in the immune system. It's involved in bone health. It's involved in brain health. Magnesium is really, really important. And if you're just arriving, please put your first name, where you're from in the chat. And if you're an evolving lion, give me a roar. Hi from California. Hi from SoCal. Hi, Robert. Hi, Infant. Hi, Infant Online. Mike from Malaysia. If you're going to ask a question, please put your first name. From Mexico again. Roar to you, Kim. Anise from Buffalo. Donna from Florida. Andre from Windsor, Ontario. Windsor sounds like a castle. Roar. Ashley from Mississippi. Hey, Ashley. Laura from Arkansas. Summer from Oregon. Shelly. Roar from Canada. Holly from Oregon. If you're just arriving, please put your first name, where you're from in the chat. An evolving lion, give us a roar. Been taking magnesium oxide. Doesn't seem to help. We are going to talk about magnesium. Hi from Louisiana. Parma, Ohio. Gloria from New Mexico. Sam, you must be new here. I like to see who's in the group and get to know each other. Sometimes we'll be here for an hour and a half together. And so I hope you stick around. Michelle from SoCal. Hello, Ellie. Anise. Hello, Anise. What's the best brain supplement? It depends what you're trying to do. If you want a shortcut, I recommend you check out my free report, my top 10 supplements. It's available below my profile. And that'll give you my top 10 supplements, and I'll answer other questions about it while we're online. But that's a great free resource for you. Roar, Liz from Australia. Hey, Nella Doodle. Anita from Tennessee. Rusty Washer here. Anderson Township, Cincinnati. Really? I'm in Hyde Park, Cincinnati. Hey, Rusty Washer. We got Wyoming. We got Karine from Quebec. Iron deficiency. You have an iron deficiency? That's unfortunate. Liz from Australia. Roar to you. I take L-threonate and gluconate every day. Awesome. I've learned from you. Thank you. Thank you, Sammy. Glad to be here. Gloria from New Mexico. My favorite lives. Hooray. My dad has dementia after his bypass. Oh my gosh. I don't know if that's common, Mitzi. One thing that is more common is dementia after anesthesia. And so I'm sure most of us, depending upon your age, you probably know someone who's had general anesthesia and had poor memory afterwards. That's a real problem. Felicia from Georgia. Big things happening in Georgia tonight. Laura started magnesium glycinate yesterday. Great job, Laura. Roar to you. Top 3 supplements for the brain. Off the top of my head, lion's mane, curcumin, and bacopa. I would go with those 3. And then if you can find it, aniracetam. If you can't find it, aniracetam, huperzine A. Are cheap supplements worth it? Well, it depends what the quality is. You can find inexpensive things that are high quality. I was just in Costco today. I was amazed. The big tub of extra virgin coconut oil is $14. I remember buying that when I was in high school, college for over $20. And that was years ago. And so, I mean, well, high school would have been 20 years ago. And so amazing that the cost of some high quality things has gone down over time. Ideally, with technology, things will decrease in cost because technology and mechanization will decrease the cost. Westchester here. Awesome. Westchester, Cincinnati, I'm guessing. It says Buckeye fan. I'm guessing you're in Ohio. Jack from Lubbock, Texas. My favorite lives. Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. Gloria from New Mexico. Let's see what else. I want to say hello to the other people who just arrived. We got Boston. If you're just arriving, please put your first name, where you're from in the chat. We got Come to California King. Is that me? Am I King? Alcohol in the Brain. Not good, as you can guess. Dr. Andrew Huberman has a great podcast on that in detail. Mushrooms. By the way, as far as cheap supplements, a lot of magnesium supplements are not that expensive. A lot of magnesium glycinate supplements are not that expensive. Mushrooms, magic, and food may be saving grace. Yes, there's a lot of great research on psychedelic mushrooms at Johns Hopkins University and smoking cessation, and which is basically stopping smoking with psychedelic mushrooms with a psychedelic psychotherapist. That's really exciting research. That's pretty cutting edge. And then research by Paul Stamets on psilocybin mushrooms, lion's mane, and neurogenesis. That's really cool. Wait to hear what I think of kava. Yeah, I recently tried kava for sleep. I'll tell you about that. Michigan did well in midterms. You mean you did well on your midterms in school? That's awesome. Sugar-free energy drinks are okay. Well, it depends what's in them. So if there's aspartame, no. Aspartame is no bueno. I have a low hemoglobin and low iron. That's a lot of stuff, Mandy. I don't know what to tell you. Tell us why. Why what, Gemma? OCD supplements. Where do I buy my magnesium? I buy most of my supplements online from the largest online retailer, whose name I try not to mention very often. Hello from Chicago. If you want to know my favorite supplement brands, I'm going to give you stuff on the live right now. But if you want the shortcut, here's the shortcut. Go below my profile. There's a link to a free report that says my top 10 supplements. Go to the registration page, enter your name and email. I will email you a copy of my top 10 supplements with brands, with where I buy them, with why I buy them. So what I look for in a good supplement. And I tell you all that. I tell you where I buy them, what brands I buy, and what specifically I buy. And I will totally answer questions about them. I'm not dodging that. I'm happy to talk about supplements as long as we're on the live. And if you want all that stuff, it's all there. So that's the shortcut. And then you can listen and you don't need to take notes. Who is behind me? That's Gaia. That's Gaia by Min-Jae Lee. Isn't she pretty? She's done by hand. I'll bring her close to you in a little bit. Can I talk about ADHD? Yes, I can. Do you have a specific question about ADHD? Do you know about lion's mane with pregnancy? That's a really great question, Sam Chop. So if there's enough interest, I will either do a presentation or I think I'll bring on an expert about pregnancy, because this is interesting, whether you're a parent, whether you're a grandparent, whether you're an aspiring parent. I'm an aspiring parent. I hope to be a parent one day. I think it's important to know what supplements are okay to take during pregnancy, as well as during surgery. My mother's having shoulder replacement surgery soon, and she got this crazy note from her doctor. I think it's crazy. It says, stop all supplements 1 week before surgery. I said, all supplements? Well, what if some of those supplements are helpful? That's such a blanket statement. It's like saying don't eat fruit before surgery. Well, which fruit? I mean, a banana is different from a blueberry. Or, refrain from all exercise. Well, what kind of exercise? Walking does walking count? Walking up the stairs, does that count? Is it strenuous exercise? Is it weightlifting? Can I do stretching? That kind of, when someone says stop all supplements, it really means that they lack the fine understanding as to what to avoid. And so I was annoyed by that. I'm sure you've gotten things from medical doctors. Oh, I get this one. I've gotten this one frequently. I haven't gotten it in a while. It was, I was talking with a potential client, and she said, my doctor says brain supplements don't work. I said, really? Well, here's an example. Curcumin reduces inflammation. Inflammation is one of the primary causes of Alzheimer's disease. So if curcumin reduces inflammation, which most scientists agree, then curcumin can help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. And then instead of considering that or bringing that data to her doctor, she got mad at me. And so this is what we see. We see medical professionals, and by the way, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm a neuroscientist. I look at the research, and then I use that research to help people. Unfortunately, a lot of medical professionals don't know the research, especially around Alzheimer's disease and dementia. I had another conversation with someone. He said, hey, you're telling people stuff that's not true. I said, what are you talking about? Here's the data. Here's the science. Here's the citation. Look up the journal. Read the article yourself. And he said, well, if this were work, Ted Turner would do it. I said, huh? He said, yeah, Ted Turner has Alzheimer's disease. I don't know if he does or not. I haven't looked that up, but let's say he does. He says, yeah, if Ted Turner has Alzheimer's disease, he's a billionaire. He has access to the best medical world. He would be taking this if you're right. And that's interesting. And that logic is not without merit. If Ted Turner, had the best doctors, the best Alzheimer's doctors, and they knew what they were doing, then yes, he would be taking them. But that has a couple of presuppositions in there. But I get a lot of resistance when I present science. I said, look, man, you don't need to believe me. Don't believe me. Here's the research. Do research yourself. I'll tell you what I'm reading. Here's the data. Here's the science. Evaluate it for yourself. And they refused. So instead of looking at the data, they simply said, you're wrong. You're presenting false information. Very, very fascinating. And so I get this from the medical community where they don't want to look at the data. So if I went to a doctor and said, hey, instead of telling people to not take supplements for surgery, tell them which supplements and why. Is vitamin B okay? Is vitamin C okay? I would think vitamin C would be great because that's an immune boosting supplement. Do you want me to have a good immune system before I go in? And certainly it's clear out of my body within 24 hours. So 7 days seems excessive for vitamin C and vitamin B. Now you can make a case for vitamin D that stays in the body longer. What about something like lion's mane or something like cinnamon or curcumin? Those promote a healthy immune system. Do you want me taking these? What about supplements to bone health like vitamin K, magnesium, vitamin D? Don't you want me taking these things in preparation to regrow bones, or when can I start taking them? Amazing. How much magnesium should someone take in a day? That really depends. So it's different for men and women, and it depends what kind. But I'm going to look that up, and I'm going to give you the exact numbers that are quoted, and then we'll talk about what's likely safe. We're going to do that right now. And Jafer just ordered $80 of supplements on Amazon because of me. All right, awesome. Great job. I hope they're good ones, and please tell us how you feel. So let's look at magnesium recommendations, and then I'll tell you what I do. So daily. So by the way, the RDA, the recommended daily allowance, Ben Fuchs told me this. He said it's more like the ridiculously deficient allowance. The RDA is like the minimum to not die. The RDA is not a good optimal level. So for example, if we'll do RDA of vitamin D, to give you an example, the RDA of vitamin D is 800 IU, 800 international unit. Cutting edge medical doctors are saying 5,000 IU, maximum 10,000 IU. I've been exposed to sick people recently. I'm taking 10,000 IU a day. The RDA is 800. So the RDA is approximately 5 to 10x off what is recommended. So just keep that in mind. The RDA hasn't been updated, I think, since the 70s or 80s, depending on which vitamin. So that's the RDA for vitamin D. The RDA for vitamin D is 800 IU, international unit. 5,000 is recommended by most doctors who are in the know, Stephen Gundry, for example, and 10,000 IU is the maximum that's safe according to research from San Diego State. Now let's look up the RDA of magnesium. I want you to know that the RDA and the dosage on supplement bottles is often low. So the RDA for adults 19 to 51 is 400 to 20 milligrams for men, 310 to 320 for women. Pregnancy requires 350 to 360. So we'll say approximately 300 for women, 400 for men. Pregnant women, 350. All right. So between 300 and 400 for most adults. I'm sure it depends upon your body size and your individual needs. If you're healing something, it might be a good idea to take some. I once recommended magnesium to a friend who had anxiety, and he was a friend of mine that I knew from dancing. We were doing swing dancing. He was very good. And I said, hey, tell me what's going on in your life. He said, well, I have anxiety. I said, have you tried magnesium? No. Well, here, I might have had some either in my car or I recommended he get some. And then the next week I saw him, I was like, how's your anxiety? He's like, oh, actually, it didn't happen this week. I'm like, oh, so is the magnesium work? He's like, I guess. That was pretty cool. Now, I don't know if that's going to work for everybody. I don't know if that was what worked for him. That was just an example of someone taking magnesium and then they experienced a benefit. I can't relate causation, but that certainly happened. And then I recently did a video on magnesium. A lot of people have chimed in and said, hey, I take magnesium. It helps my sleep. And it's helped the quality of my life. I wake up feeling really good. I take magnesium before I go to bed and when I wake up on an empty stomach. My stomach is okay taking magnesium on an empty stomach. I'm not okay taking liquid zinc on an empty stomach. I took liquid zinc from the company I like. Here's my favorite company. Where did those go? What do I do with those? I just had those. Trace Minerals. Trace Minerals is one of my favorite companies for minerals, for magnesium, for selenium, for potassium. I don't like their zinc because I took their zinc on an empty stomach and I got sick in the morning a couple times. And then I realized, oh, maybe it's the zinc. Maybe that's what's screwing me up here. So that's the recommended dose, 300 to 400 milligrams. Now, what amount is safe? Let's look that up. Or let's look up magnesium, optimal magnesium dosage. So National Academy of Medicine says not exceeding 350 milligrams. That sounds really low. Again, adults 400 to 420 for men. Let's say maximum magnesium dosage. Let's look up Healthline. I like Healthline. Healthline's great. So these are they're presenting the RDA. And they also talk about the difference between gluconate, oxide, citrate, magnesium chloride, hydroxide. I hadn't heard about magnesium hydroxide. Someone posted that. Also knows milk of magnesia. Okay, so that's a laxative. Dosage for constipation. Dosage for sleep. Studies with suboptimal magnesium have poor quality sleep. There you go. That's a nice data point. So rats, and I'm guessing this also for people. Now, I know it's not one-to-one animal studies and human studies, but this is likely generalizable. That's why we do research on animals mostly, because we want to generalize it to humans, and we can do things with animals that are unethical with humans. So we deprived rats of magnesium, and they had poor sleep. That's interesting. Also, this is a data I love. Research back to the 1980s dissection research found that people with Alzheimer's disease had reduced levels of magnesium in their brains. Recent research finds the same. And update. So I'm updating my perspective on something. Last week, people asked about aluminum. I said I didn't see evidence in the data showing aluminum and Alzheimer's link. I looked at old research from the 70s and 80s, and they didn't find any increases in aluminum in Alzheimer's brains. I looked at new research this weekend, and I found that current research shows that there is an increased amount of aluminum in the brains of Alzheimer's patients in a variety of places throughout the brain. And so I'm now updating my perspective. As a scientist, that's what we want to do. We want to remain flexible. So it looks like aluminum is associated with Alzheimer's disease. We don't know to what extent, and we don't know why that's happening, but this is current science. So, and let me look that up for you. So I'll cite the paper. So the current science, and so I'm sorry I was giving you old science before. The current science is that aluminum is associated with Alzheimer's disease. So let me look up. So I'm going to Google Scholar, by the way, if you all want to be researchers yourself. So you can go to Google Scholar, which is scholar.google.com, and I'm going to type in aluminum Alzheimer's. And this study that I looked at showed aluminum and magnesium and Alzheimer's. That's actually how I found it. I was reading about magnesium and Alzheimer's, and it came up aluminum. Okay, so this is a study from 2005 in the Journal of Alzheimer's. Is that right? It is the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease. It's from 2005, so pretty recent. The title is Brain Aluminum, Magnesium, and Phosphorus Contents of Control and Alzheimer's Diseased Brains. They looked at 5 different regions in 3 brains, 3 control, 3 Alzheimer's brains. Significantly higher levels of aluminum and lower magnesium were found in Alzheimer's brains in certain regions compared to control brains. Very interesting. So that's the current science. So I'm updating. And this is important. I'm really glad that I got to I don't want to say I made this mistake. I got to update my perspective because as scientists, we make mistakes. We make conclusions based upon previous data, and then new data comes in, and we want to be flexible. So, for example, if new research comes rushing in showing that Ceylon cinnamon impairs memory rather than improves memory, I want to take a good hard look at that because the current research is that Ceylon cinnamon improves memory, and so that's what I'm telling people. I'm taking Ceylon cinnamon. I got my parents taking Ceylon cinnamon. I got clients taking Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon is great. It's safe. It helps regulate blood sugar. It improves the immune system. It improves memory in healthy adults. It reduces inflammation. It reduces oxidative stress. It helps protect the brain. All kinds of good stuff in both animals and human studies. And I'm open to that research being overturned with new research that provides a different perspective, that maybe is more accurate, that maybe records something differently. Maybe there's a subset of the population, so it might be it's more beneficial for men or for women. Maybe people of a different ethnicity. It might be more or less helpful for people who have brain damage or a certain illness. I don't know, but I want to remain flexible with my understanding. Right, that's how we grow and evolve. And what we find, unfortunately, is some people. I don't want to call them scientists because that's not the way scientists ideally ought to think. Some people who are in positions of power and influence don't update their perspective based upon the new science. So I made a mistake last week. I was citing old science, the new science. Aluminum is associated with an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. Question is, what are your sources of aluminum? One of them might be deodorant or antiperspirant specifically. I take a really nice deodorant. Actually, a lady friend of mine recommended to me. She's like, "Hey, Robert, smell my armpits." I said, "Okay." She's like, "Doesn't that smell good?" I'm like, "I guess." She's like, "Yeah, it's real nice, musky smell. It's this really good company." So I got some. It's pretty good. And then you can also reduce your exposure through shampoos and conditioners. Those are just sometimes there are toxic chemicals in cosmetics. And so I like the brand Native, Native. I use their shampoo and conditioner, really high quality stuff. I like their stuff a lot. For soap, I like Dr. Bronner's. That's a high quality soap. It's Castile soap. And then if you want my deodorant label, I'm going to have to go get it. Or I can look it up online. Let me see what I got here. I want you to have this because I want you to be able to reduce your exposure to aluminum. What did I buy before? So one way is to avoid antiperspirant. That's a really good idea. A lot of antiperspirants have aluminum. Aluminum. No. Okay. It's called Hume, Hume. I'm saying no because I typed in aluminum instead of deodorant, and then my deodorant came up. So I don't wear antiperspirant. I don't want to prevent my armpits from sweating. By the way, if you've noticed, the sweat in your groin and the sweat in your armpits smells differently than the other sweat of your body. That's because it is different. It's actually thicker, and it attracts a different type of bacteria. And that bacteria is what produces the smell. It's actually not the sweat itself. Your sweat isn't what produces most of the smell. It's the bacteria that are in the sweat or like the sweat. And that's from Bill Bryson's book, The Body. If you want to nerd out on some just interesting physiology and stuff about the body, Bill Bryson's book, The Body, is so good. And then if you like science, his book, A Brief History of Everything, which is a science textbook. It's a science book written in story format. It's spectacular. So for deodorant, I like Hume, Hume. For soap, for shampoo and conditioner, I like Native. And then for soap, I like Dr. Bronner's. All right. So what's the safe amount of magnesium? Let's get to that. So we know the recommended daily allowance or the ridiculously deficient allowance is safe. 300 for women, 400, 420 for men. Now, what amount is likely safe? I will tell you, in the short term, I've taken 4 times that of magnesium glycinate. I was trying to get myself disaster pants. I was talking to a medical doctor who was actually my girlfriend's father at the time. And he said, "Robert, if you take too much magnesium, you're going to shit your pants." I said, "Okay, let's see." And so I took high doses for 4 days. And I was like, okay, I'm not getting any stomach trouble. Now, is that dose safe long term? I don't know. I don't take that much regularly. I take about twice that amount. So I take approximately 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate and 400 milligrams of magnesium threonate. I'm not recommending that for you. I'm telling you that's what I do. And I think that's appropriate because number one, not all of it gets absorbed. And number two, I think these recommendations are low. So that's my thought. And I think it's really unlikely that I'm overdosing because most people are deficient in magnesium. So then I don't take it every day. I take a day off once a week. So allow my body to reset. So and then our body regulates magnesium in our blood pretty tightly. And so I think we let go of a lot of excess magnesium. And so I'm not saying it's beneficial to take 10 times the amount that's recommended. I think it's a good idea to give our bodies constant doses of magnesium throughout the day in both food and in supplement form. Ideally, food. Foods that are rich in magnesium are almonds, leafy greens, for example. And by doing that, we allow our body to constantly absorb it. I wouldn't recommend taking a massive dose all at once. I would take it. I take mine in the morning and then at night and then throughout the day in my water. So what amount is right for you? I don't know. People have been posting about heart medication. Is magnesium safe for people on heart medications? No. What I read is that it actually can help heart medication. And other people are concerned about it. So I don't know. Someone posted, yes, it can interact. So check with your medical professional, ideally a pharmacist. Pharmacists are generally better at interactions than medical doctors because pharmacists, that's their game. That's what they're up to. They're up to pills, right? What pills interact with what? And so ask them. They're also easier to access because you can go to the counter at CVS or Target or wherever you get your drugs and wherever you get your legal drugs and ask them. So that's my spiel on what amount is safe. According to the government, according to the ridiculously deficient allowance or the RDA, the recommended daily allowance, 300 to 400 milligrams for adults, approximately 300 for women, 420 for men. And I take that amount in two different forms, magnesium glycinate and magnesium threonate, morning and evening. And then I take magnesium drops during the day. And I eat a fair amount of foods that are high in magnesium. And that I think is what's right for me. I don't know what's right for you. All right, I'll skip to the bottom. Questions on magnesium. How about Calm magnesium? I was taking Calm for a long time, Calm for years. And I was reading more about, they changed their formula, and I was reading more about magnesium citrate. It's not that bioavailable. And it creates I was adding it to my smoothies to increase magnesium in my smoothies. So I was really adding a lot of magnesium to my diet through supplements. And I was reading that it's not that bioavailable, and it was producing a very full sensation in my stomach. So I stopped. So I don't think magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide are very bioavailable. And if you take large doses of that, it will have you run to the toilet. So this doctor that I was talking about, he was correct in that magnesium will cause disaster pants, but it depends what type of magnesium. Magnesium citrate and magnesium oxide can cause disaster pants. Other forms like glycinate, not so much. I took 4x RDA of glycinate 4 days in a row, no negative side effects short term. I'm not saying that's safe long term. I think it might be, but I'm not doing that long term. That dosage, I was just doing that as an experiment on myself. How do we figure out the correct dosage if RDA is not always correct? That is a great question, Nate. Let's applaud Nate. Big roar to you, Nate. That is a brilliant question. What do we do when the governmental guidelines that theoretically were established by smart people with the best data, what do we do when those guidelines aren't correct? I don't know. I mean, we're facing this with the food pyramid, right? The food pyramid was the guidelines for eating for the last, I was in third grade when that came out. So for the last 30 years, the food pyramid was the guidelines for eating. And some people followed the food pyramid and they got obese, they got diabetes, some got heart disease, and many people died following the food pyramid. And so I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's a really great question. What you can do is you can do research on individual things. So like vitamin D. Vitamin D was huge during the pandemic. People were talking about it. We're deficient in vitamin D. It's increasing our risk of disease. Here's the right amount of vitamin D. So I listen to a lot of health podcasts and health documentaries and food documentaries, and I'm listening for key things. When I hear dosages, I turn up the volume and I also rewind to listen to it. So Stephen Gundry talks a lot about vitamin D and the amount that's safe. And so 5,000 IU, I've seen that recommended by multiple people, including him. I like him. I think he's got good science. He cites the science. For example, I learned the mushroom study from him from Singapore that those who eat 2 servings of mushrooms a day have a decreased risk of Alzheimer's disease by 57%. I learned that from him. And, and then I found the study myself. So I like him. So he says 5,000 to 10,000 IU. I confirmed the 10,000 IU a day of vitamin D is safe. So that's how I got that one. And so if you listen to, read enough science and pay attention enough, you'll hear smart people tell you the safe amount that they know of. I'll give you another example. Coenzyme Q10, CoQ10. This is really important for optimal health. Statins decrease CoQ10, which is one reason why statins have lots of side effects and like decreased energy. CoQ10 basically helps clear away waste or reduces waste in mitochondria. The mitochondria are the energy centers or power producers of your cells. They make ATP. CoQ10 helps eliminate waste in the mitochondria. Now, what amount of CoQ10 is safe? I know the amount that's safe from the research. If you look at the supplement bottles say take 100 to 200 milligrams a day. That is not enough to get the medicinal benefits seen in the research. The research on CoQ10 finds that CoQ10 can help with Parkinson's disease, can help symptoms of Parkinson's disease, and can help with symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, and potentially help prevent Alzheimer's disease at a minimum of 1,000 milligrams a day. So the recommended dose on supplement bottles, this is not from the government, this is from the supplement manufacturers. The recommended dose is 100 milligrams a day. The dose that most people will need to see a significant benefit is 1,000. It's 10x off. The maximum dose, if I had Parkinson's disease, this is the amount I would take. The maximum dosage that is absorbable by a human is approximately 3,000 milligrams. 4,000 is safe. They gave 4,000 milligrams to humans for, I think it was a couple months, and no negative side effects. But they found that 3,000 was the maximum absorbed. So they measure it in their blood, and they didn't find a difference between 3,000 and 4,000. So they concluded that 3,000 is the maximum that we can absorb. So that's a very specific one that I know because I got really deep into the research. So the supplement bottle says 100. If you want benefit from CoQ10, I recommend taking 1,000 milligrams, maximum 3,000 milligrams. That's the amount that's absorbable. 4,000 is safe. Check with your medical doctor. If they don't know the right amount to take, print some science and bring it to them. So that's an example. I don't know how to figure this out for magnesium because I would want to do a large scale study to see what the right amount is. And then the right amount might change based upon the person, based upon their diet, based upon exercise. Whether exercise increases or decreases need, I don't know. For example, exercise, magnesium is involved in muscle relaxation. And so potassium is involved in contraction and cramps. I think I have this right. Potassium is involved in like contraction, and a lack of potassium can lead to cramps. Magnesium is involved in relaxation of the muscles. And so if you exercise, do you need more or less magnesium? I don't know, but I'd like to see that research. So I don't know how to figure out the right amount for magnesium or for other vitamins and minerals. I know the one for vitamin D because I've been listening and reading. And so if you really want to find out, find a supplement nerd like myself, or listen to a bunch of podcasts on health and wellness, and listen to people talking about doses they take and why. And that's a really good indicator. And so when I make videos or when I do my lives, I try to share what I do and why, how I came to that conclusion. So I take 10,000 IU of vitamin D. Why? Because that's the maximum amount that's safe. It's winter. I'm in Cincinnati. I'm getting minimal amounts of sun. It's cold and flu season. Vitamin D helps not only with mood, but also with immune system. I'm taking the max that's safe right now for the next couple of months because I think that's the right thing. When I move to Miami, I'm taking less. I'm taking 5,000 IU. I'm going to get plenty of sunshine, and I just want to take 5,000 IU most days to make sure that I'm covered. That's what I'm doing, and that's why I'm doing it. All right. But that's a really great question, and it's worth asking this of the people you hire and pay money to for your healthcare professionals. Say, hey, the RDA is, let's look. When was the RDA updated? I think it was the 70s. It might depend upon the supplement. I mean, the vitamin D one grossly needs to be updated. Approximately 40% of white Americans and 70% of Black Americans are deficient in vitamin D. I think it's time for an update of that recommendation. Who's with me? Goodness, more than half Americans are deficient, especially people of color. This is a problem. And I don't know if anyone's talking about updating this thing. I mean, it's more, if you're going to improve your health, you really got to do your own research, because if you just go to a medical professional who just follows the RDA, you might be out of luck. All right. So when was the RDA last updated? The RDAs continued to be updated in 74, 80, and 89. But the values specified for nutrition labeling remain unchanged. So I don't know what that means. In 1993, the FDA published new regulations mandating the inclusion of nutrition fact labels on most packaged foods. Interesting. So in 1993, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, required packages to talk about amounts of certain vitamins and nutrients on their packages. One was not included. Katie Couric talks about this. One important nutritive or nutrient was not listed. Anyone guess? Anyone guess? Who knows what really, really, really huge, massive, important nutrient is not listed in percentages on a food label? So, anyone want to guess? It's a really big category of foods that's not listed. Vitamin K, good guess. Calcium, good guess. Think about a food label, and what I'm specifically referring to is it doesn't tell you what percentage you're consuming. Sugar, Taylor got it. Sorry to cut this short. We got it. Sugar. So if you look at a label, it'll say, "Do I have a food label?" Yeah, I do. I got really good chocolate. I got Hue chocolate. By the way, I'm talking to Hue. I'm going to see if we can get a discount for Christmas or for the holidays. So Hue chocolate. It says total carbohydrates 14 grams, dietary fiber 2 grams, total sugar 8 grams, but does not list a percentage. I don't know if you can see this. It's not going to be very easy to read. So grab a food label and look at total sugars. This is in plain sight. The truth often hides in plain sight. And so if you think the FDA favors certain industries like the sugar industry, there's great evidence for that, because the FDA does not require any company to say what percentage of their product, what percentage of our daily recommended allowance of sugar their product makes up. Because if you look at Twinkies and it says, 200% of your daily sugar, that's a problem, right? Then people will be like, maybe I shouldn't be eating Twinkies, right? Or Ho-Hos. I love Ho-Hos, by the way. Good night, Mother. I love you. So, all kinds of things like that. So look at labels. It's frightening. It's frightening that they don't tell us what percentage of sugar this makes up. If one cookie makes up 25% of your daily allowance of sugar, you're like, oh my gosh, one cookie? I want to have like 10 of these things. And I can only have one, and that's 25%. So yeah, big deal. All right. So we covered magnesium, the optimal amount for the recommended daily allowance, or the ridiculously deficient allowance, is 300 to 400 milligrams for women and men. And what amount is safe? I'm taking approximately double that. I don't know what's safe for you. That's important for you to figure out and determine. I take magnesium throughout the day, and I think that's the way to do it. I take it morning and evening. I take magnesium glycinate and threonate. I take magnesium drops. Take magnesium drops throughout the day, and I try to eat high magnesium food. Ideally, you're getting most of your supplements and your nutrients through food. Some exceptions are herbs like curcumin and cinnamon. It's hard to get enough cinnamon every day. It really is. I've tried. It's adding a lot of cinnamon to my coffee, to my smoothies. It becomes unpleasant. Even harder is to get enough curcumin by eating turmeric. You got to eat a ton of curry, and I like curry. You got to eat a ton of curry every day to get enough curcumin through just adding enough spices, and it's not pleasant. It's much easier to just take a supplement. Now, can you get it through food? Yes. Is it best to get it through food? I don't think it's sustainable. And if you're making your food unpleasant to get enough nutrients, I think that makes a lot of sense to me, because I love food. Who loves food? I mean, it's amazing to be alive right now. We can, Columbus, it was not a nice person. Columbus was an egomaniac, and he enslaved a lot of people, and he went to the United States and hurt a lot. It wasn't the United States at the time. He came to the Americas and enslaved a lot of people and killed a lot of people and brought back a bunch of gold. He traveled to get spices. He risked his life to get spices. The Silk Road was a road across Asia that was often spices and silk. You can get spices now without facing death. You just got to drive there or walk there for pennies on the dollar. For $5, you can get almost any spice in the grocery store. Cinnamon, turmeric. I mean, these things are from all around the world. Cinnamon's from Sri Lanka. You can get something from Sri Lanka for $5. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. Just the wealth of spice and the variety of food that we have access to is amazing. Unfortunately, the food that's advertised to us is so low quality, especially food that are advertised to people of low education, low income, often people of color. It's really bad, especially to children. We're advertising such awful things to children, and we're getting them hooked and addicted on high fructose corn syrup and really dangerous foods. I was listening to a great documentary today. It was talking about how the food women eat. What you got for me, mother? Don't forget the nuts. All right, so I'm roasting walnuts right now downstairs. I was soaking them during the day, and I'm roasting them right now. So I want those to be nice and crisp before I go to bed.
You can just turn off the oven and let them sit.
Well, if I leave them overnight, they're going to get soft again. So
Well, then you can just heat them up in the morning.
Okay. So, and so these researchers were talking about how food that women eat when they're pregnant affects the baby, of course, right? And that food actually tells the baby what to expect in the world, right? And so hopefully women are eating a lot of vegetables, a lot of healthy fatty fish, not too much mercury, right? So your smash fish, salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring, make sure it's wild caught salmon and Atlantic mackerel, not king mackerel. Get some healthy fats into the baby. Max Lugavere shared that women who eat more fatty fish have smarter children. Amazing, right? And that we might be able to assume the opposite. Women who eat a high carbohydrate diet rich in refined sugars and high fructose corn syrup have less intelligent children because they don't get the healthy fats. And those children are more likely to be obese because they've been conditioned before birth to seek out high fructose corn syrup. I think the amount of high fructose corn syrup that we've eaten since the 1970s has increased 5x, 500%, some ridiculous amount like that, some huge amount. And it's mostly poor people of low education, and people of color that are doing a lot of that. And so the burden of this health epidemic is really being squeezed down on those people. It's really, really horrible. And I'll even talk with educated friends, and I'll say, "Hey, the food on the shelf is really dangerous. It's really bad. I'm surprised that you're eating it." They say, "Oh, it's okay every once in a while." Maybe, but even every once in a while, you might be doing yourself harm. Um, so is it okay to eat food with mercury in it? Um, Not so much. I mean, I eat a lot of fatty fish. I think it's got minimal mercury in it. I think. Now, am I hurting myself? I hope not, but I'm doing that in the name of health. Um, how often is it safe to smoke a cigarette? I would say pretty much never. It causes inflammation. It'll hurt your body. French fry. Dave Asprey talks about this. Dave Asprey said that a cigarette will increase your inflammation for, I think it was 6 hours. But a French fry, if you eat fried foods, that'll increase your inflammation for 24 hours. So it's actually safer to have a cigarette than it is to eat French fries. Now, I'm not saying to do either. Please don't start smoking. I just want you to know that there's impact of eating food every once in a while. I was in Costco today and I saw that they were making fresh baked cookies as like the demo. Who likes the demos in stores? Blow up the chat if you like the free food in the stores. That stuff's so good. And so it smelled so good. And so I'm looking, I'm like, oh man, I so want those chocolate chip cookies. Those look great. Then I was like, there's totally gluten and sugar in them. I just know there is. If I eat gluten and sugar, I'm not going to feel good tomorrow. So that will, that'll carry over. And so I make decisions not just for the moment. So I can eat French fries today. Will it kill me? No. Will it hurt my long-term health? Probably not. But I won't feel good the next day. I will probably feel that. And so that to me is not worth it. And when you compound that over time, if I do that once a week, yeah, that can do it. And so it's upsetting to me that smart, educated people will say, "Oh, it's okay to do that every once in a while." Well, if you're doing it once a week, it's probably not. It's probably compounding. And you're putting your dollars towards those things. This is a really big deal. If we want change in the world, we really need to vote with our dollars. And I really want to thank my roommate, Jay. He told me about slave chocolate. Basically, a lot of the chocolate in the United States that we eat in the United States is grown in West Africa on plantations by children who are not paid. An unpaid child laborer is a slave. They are recruited there, they're brought there in deceptive ways, and they're put there and they're basically forced to work. That's really bad. Most human beings don't want any part of that. Most of us don't want to buy that chocolate. And yes, most people are unwilling to buy that chocolate. I was buying that chocolate until my friend Jay said, "Dude, that's likely made with slave chocolate. Here's the story. I don't think you want to buy that." I said, "Thanks, Jay. You just ruined chocolate for me. I can never buy this again." And I think with one exception, I've not bought that kind of chocolate again. Maybe twice. And so vote with your dollars. And now, as a result, I want to thank the Hershey company. Hershey recently bought Lily's. Lily's chocolate is a fair trade, keto-friendly chocolate made with stevia and erythritol as sweeteners. It was from Boulder, Colorado. Hershey's bought it, wanting to increase their healthy products. Now, I think Hershey's has a long way to go, but that's a good step. So vote with your dollars. Please don't buy foods with high fructose corn syrup. Don't give these companies any money. And if there's a company that uses high fructose corn syrup, please don't buy any of their products. Just boycott that company. And then talk to the store manager, any store, and say, "Look, I like the store, and I'm upset that you're carrying foods with high fructose corn syrup. Those foods increase obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, and Alzheimer's disease. And those foods are a real problem. I wish you would stop carrying them because my child is begging me for them. I'm at checkout, and my child is begging for M&Ms and candy, and it's hard for me to say no. And I know they're not good for them. You know those aren't good for my child, and I don't want them being tempted when we check out. So please don't put them in the checkout line, and please just get rid of them in your store, especially at a store like Whole Foods." I'm amazed. I'll see candy in the checkout line at Whole Foods. I'm thinking, isn't this like the healthiest place to shop? And I don't have children. If I brought my kids there at Whole Foods, they'd be like, "Hey, Daddy, can I have these candy bars?" "No, you can have the candy bars. Hell no." And gosh darn, I'm upset at you, Whole Foods, for putting these things right by the front. And I shop at Whole Foods, and I like to put just the lack of business responsibility of corporate responsibility is really low. And so please, please, please vote with your dollars. Read labels. Please don't buy things with high fructose corn syrup just for your own health, but also please don't buy them because you don't want to support them. It's not good to support those companies. And I think someone mentioned this a couple of days ago, and I was thinking about this. It might have been yesterday about a attack on high fructose corn syrup. That might be the answer. High fructose. Unfortunately, I don't want to wait until these companies get a moral conscience to understand that making a majority of the country, I'm talking about the United States, making a majority of the United States obese and diabetic for profit by selling people cheap foods made with cheap products like high fructose corn syrup, that's not a winning strategy. I don't want to wait for these food companies to figure it out. So in 50 years, when 80% of America is diabetic, everyone's going to be on disability. And so Hershey's and these large companies will say, I don't want to pick on Hershey's, but these companies that sell high fructose corn syrup products, they're going to be out of business because there aren't going to be any productive members of society because they're all going to be so sick. And then people are going to be taking care of the sick. So there'll be two types of workers. There's people on disability with serious illnesses and people taking care of them. And that's going to be the world if we keep going this way. And so I don't want to wait for companies to realize this. I think a tax that makes high fructose corn syrup really expensive or illegal would be a really good idea. Humans, we did not evolve eating high fructose corn syrup. It creates terrible problems for us. It's associated with so many terrible problems. Oh, this is really interesting. So, I went to grad school in Texas. I'm wearing my Longhorn shirt. And I was a big football fan, so I travel around going to football games. We went to this small town. We stopped at Subway. And my friend said, "Dude, you got to have a Dr. Pepper here. The Dr. Pepper here is made locally. And it's made with real sugar, not high fructose corn syrup. You can taste the difference." And so I had one. It's like, "Ooh, this is so good." Interestingly, some researchers did some research, and they found that people in that town with the sugar in their soda, they had fewer cases of diabetes and obesity other similar towns in Texas. What a great experiment, right? These people are eating sugar. Other people around Texas are drinking soda with high fructose corn syrup. Town, the sugar is much healthier. That's amazing. It's not like sugar is healthy. Cane sugar actually isn't too bad if you eat it with the cane. Who's actually had like sugar cane? Let me know if you've actually had sugar cane where like it's with the fiber. By the way, sugar cane actually has magnesium in it. Like the sugar cane is the plant. It's not a bad plant. It's when you refine it, take out all the good stuff that gets problematic. So removing high fructose corn syrup could be a really simple, powerful way of affecting a lot of people and protecting a lot of people. I think that's the first step. And the more I think about it, that's just the fastest, easiest way to do that is on a state by state level and then a federal level, just banning high fructose corn syrup or making it illegal. And then companies can go back to using sugar. And not that sugar's great for you. I still wouldn't recommend soda, but it's going to hurt a lot of people a lot less. Interestingly, we talked about this yesterday. Mexico does not allow high fructose corn syrup in their soda. At least if they do, fewer companies are using it. The soda made for Mexicans is safer than the soda made for Americans. That's wild when it's made by an American company. It's so odd to me that a company would knowingly use less healthy products on the inhabitants of the country in which they're located, right? So an American company uses less healthy products, less healthy ingredients for products made for Americans than for other people in other countries. That's so strange to me, and we allow it. So I think that's the first step. All right, questions. Mexican Coke is delicious. Awesome. That's sad, I know, but now you know. Bloomberg did try the soda tax. But if we're talking a high fructose corn syrup, there's so much data too. I mean, if it might have to be have to be a state by state referendum to ban high fructose corn syrup. And then and I'm a big Liberty fan. I'm not. I don't want to get political. I don't like either Republicans or Democrats. I classify myself as a libertarian. Maximum freedom, maximum free choice, and maximum independence. So I don't like war. And I don't like government spending, generally speaking. And I want to support you to do whatever you want to do as long as you're not hurting other people. That's the libertarian philosophy. Most people will agree with that. I agree with freedom of choice. And I got a problem with companies marketing to children. Children don't have freedom of choice. Children aren't smart enough to make discerning decisions. And I got a problem with companies adding ingredients they know are unhealthy to food. If that's not about freedom of choice. If you're going to provide food options, they need to be healthy, at least not dangerous. And we know high fructose corn syrup is dangerous. I'm all for freedom of choice. I'm not trying to take away choices. I'm just trying to not poison people. Okay. And so that to me, that's a food that we know hurts people, ingredients that hurts people. And so it's not about choice. It's they're misusing freedom ideal to hurt people. Can we talk supplement brands one day? One day. So my favorite supplements and the brands, I put those in my free report. So if you want my favorite supplements and the brands that I get, those are in my free report. If you want that is just below my profile picture. Just go to that. It says my top 10 supplements, 510, my top 10 supplements, and it'll tell you what I get, where I get it, and why I choose it. So that's available for you. So I definitely recommend getting that. Also, if you are committed to weight loss and like some help, you've tried different weight loss programs and you're ready for something that works. I have a relationship with someone named Chad Tackett, who is one of the world's leading experts in sustainable weight loss. And he's opened up a few slots for me and my followers who are committed to weight loss. If you'd like a free weight loss roadmap blueprint and a free strategy call with one of his certified weight loss coaches, you can apply for that beneath my profile as well. And that's for people who want to lose 20 pounds or more, and you're committed to making the changes necessary to do it. If that sounds like you, then you can apply for a free weight loss roadmap blueprint with one of Chad's certified weight loss coaches, and that's below my profile as well. You can also just enter your name and email, register, and I'll send you the masterclass. So that's the easiest way to get my favorite brands. If you have a specific brand, how much magnesium should one take? So the recommended daily allowance is 300 to 400 milligrams for women and men. I take approximately double that. Can I post healthy recipes and their benefits? Yes, Trash Canster. I just posted a couple of recipes. If you look at my videos, I often post recipes. I posted some recipes for Thanksgiving for chia seed pudding, which I really like. I'll give you my favorite hot chocolate recipe. This is great. So 1 cup of almond milk, heat that up, add 1/2 tablespoon MCT oil or coconut oil, and then blend that. So you got kind of like this fatty almond milk that's warm, and then add 2 scoops Vital Collagen chocolate protein and blend that, and that's it. It's great. It's thick, it's rich, it's creamy, it's non-dairy, so that's good. It's got MCT oil, that's good for the brain, and then the chocolate collagen protein is really good. So research shows that so collagen is the most abundant protein in the body, and women who take collagen supplements are have healthier bones and denser muscles or healthier muscles than women who don't supplement collagen. And it tastes great. So the collagen protein has some sweetener in it. So you don't need to add any sweetener. You can. You can also add some cinnamon. You can add some vanilla. You can go wild. You get a little bit of grate some nutmeg on top if you wanted to. By the way, be careful with nutmeg. It is the most powerful herb or most powerful spice. So a little nutmeg goes a long way. It overpowers the other spices. But you can add a little nutmeg if you like. But that's my favorite hot chocolate recipe. And so I just went to Costco today. I got a ton of almond milk. I got like six packages of organic almond milk. So I'm gonna be making a bunch of hot chocolate this month. Who likes hot chocolate? Who loves hot chocolate? Where are my hot chocolate people? Casey here. I'm allergic to fish. What to take instead? Try omega-3 algae oil. Casey, you want to get your algae oil. By the way, I've been seeing this a little bit. I don't know what this is. Some of you, oh yes, Gina from California. Hi, Gina. If you're just arriving, please put your first name, where you're from in the chat. If you have a question, please let me know. I will try to answer some. A couple of you have like some symbols around your names. So, for example, Brillo Solar 214, who just posted. I see a 13 and like a symbol. I don't know what that means. Can anyone else see that? I'm trying to understand what's going on. What magnesium for high blood pressure? Talk with your doctor. I don't know. Some people said that magnesium can interfere with blood pressure medication. I haven't seen that data. Oh, it's a gifter level. Okay, cool. Thank you. And so I don't know. That's an important question for your medical doctor and or your pharmacist. All right, we got Tony from Nebraska, Brittany from Addison, Texas. Brittany, do you remember what town that is that has the Dr. Pepper made there with just the sugar? We got Elaine from South Carolina. And if you're an evolving line, give me a roar. Free the queef. Hot chocolate recipe again, please. All right, here you go. Ready? Here comes the hot chocolate recipe. 1 cup, so 8 ounces, up to 12 ounces, almond milk. So if you're making this for a couple people, I would do, 1 cup per person minimum, maybe a little bit more. So that way people can have, a full mug. So 1 cup almond milk, and this scales really easily. 1/2 tablespoon MCT oil or coconut oil. You can add a full tablespoon, but you can get disaster pants. So I do 1/2 tablespoon. So 1/2 tablespoon MCT oil or coconut oil. Blend that. Next, 2 scoops Vital Collagen protein powder. Chocolate collagen protein powder. Blend that and serve it. You can also add as much cinnamon as you like. I don't know the right amount. I would add a small amount first, taste it, see how it goes. You can also add a small amount of organic vanilla. You could even add a little bit of cardamom or nutmeg, but be careful with those other spices. All right, whose organic almond milk do I buy? I buy Caliph. I buy something at Costco. I'm going to put out my Costco adventure soon. I'll show you there. I don't remember off the top of my head. All right, love cinnamon. Awesome. Yes, you want Ceylon cinnamon, Ceylon. You are welcome, Don. Vital Collagen protein chocolate. Yes, exactly. Vital Collagen protein powder, the chocolate kind. Totally. Food Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I don't know what that is. So just Brittany, I'd like to be helpful. I specialize in Alzheimer's disease and brain health. I'm not familiar with that syndrome. If there's enough interest, I'll do more research on it, but I don't have any background information to help you. Generally speaking, what's helpful for people is a low carb diet of rich in vegetables, some fruits, and healthy protein, either from plants or animal products like pastured eggs, grass-fed beef, grass-fed lamb. That is more expensive than the traditional American diet or the standard American diet, and it's totally worth it. I heard a great phrase today: pay the farmer now or pay the doctor later. So if you want good health, you can either pay the farmer now and eat healthy, good food, or you can pay for inexpensive food and pay a doctor later, a much higher bill, and then you got to kind of recover. So I don't know anything about your syndrome or that syndrome. I would recommend really cleaning up a diet, removing processed food, removing sugar, removing gluten, um, and so forth. Does that make sense? So lots of vegetables. I would remove wheat, which means no bread, no gluten. You want to eat gluten free. Gluten can agitate a lot of problems in people, autoimmune disease as well, and then get protein from a healthy source. Hello, I'm Babylon from Arizona. Babylon, cool name. Hi. What's the best medication for ADHD? Are we talking supplements? Are we talking drugs, prescription drugs? Bourbon has mad magnesium. I don't think so. If you're serious, I'm going to look it up. I strongly doubt that. Hi, Joanne. It'd be great if that were. I mean, I wish alcohol were good for me. I would totally be down for it, but it's not. I can tell when I drink at night. I'm pretty much alcohol free at this point. When I would drink, I would be much more likely to get sick the next day, and or just like even just a sore throat, and I just didn't feel good. And then I can't work in the evening. I like working in the evening, and so if I have alcohol at dinner, I have trouble working at night. That's a problem. So that's a big trade off that I'm not willing to make. And I would love it if I wish sugar and I wish the McDonald's dollar menu were healthy. That'd be great. It's not. It's the exact opposite. I wish I could bend reality in that way. I can't. Well, I don't think I want that power, but I wish, foods high in sugar and foods high in bad fats. I wish Twinkies were great for me, but they're not, unfortunately. Thoughts on oxalates? Yeah, unless you're oxalates can increase the risk of kidney stones, I think. Unless you're at risk for kidney stones, it's not really something to worry about. So oxalates naturally occur in like leafy green vegetables. They also occur in chocolate. Those are great for you. I think it'd be a terrible mistake to not um, eat those foods because of oxalates. HUEP 316. I'm about to close my account. Maybe that's why I'm tagged. I don't understand. Okay. What other questions do we have? Recipe for sardine and anchovy fritters. I don't have those. I'd be interested in that if they're not fried. All right, we got Cindy from Iowa. You Twinkies. Oh, Twinkies were so good. I was so into Twinkies. They're great. Why is bread gluten unhealthy? That's a long conversation. Very simply, we aren't able to digest or break down the protein gluten, and so it can cause problems in our digestive system. There's also research linking a gluten with autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease is when your immune system gets confused and starts attacking itself. Autoimmune disease is increasing dramatically, I think in part because there's so much, because we're eating so much gluten, so much bad food. If you want to learn more, there's a great book called Wheat Belly. I could rant about bread and gluten for a long time. Another problem with bread is that it's just rich in carbohydrates and it spikes insulin, and that's not good for most people. In America, 40% of Americans are obese, 70% are overweight. And so I think bread is not a good thing for 70% of Americans who want to lose weight. L-theanine has helped my anxiety. Awesome. I love to hear that, Kara. Big roar to you. Awesome. What Ceylon cinnamon brand is not fake? Do you mean as a supplement? Or as a powder? Smarty Pants Vitamins Healthy. I used to think so. The challenge with them, and then I posted a video, and then people commented, dude, it has sugar in it. And so I took the video down because I really want to support companies that I'm aligned with that have good products. Smarty Pants Vitamins, the problem is that they do have sugar in them. Other than that, they're healthy. So I like them. I've liked them for a while, and they're gummies, and so they have sugar in them. So unfortunately, that's a trade-off. You can make homemade bread that doesn't have gluten very easily. Awesome. Bad headaches, no alcohol for me. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about Mud Water, the alternative coffee brand? I haven't tried it. I like mushrooms. I think mushrooms are great. So ways of increasing the amount of mushrooms in your diet is terrific. And coffee is great. Coffee is rich in polyphenols. I recommend coffee. If you don't do well with caffeine, you can do decaf. Coffee's great. The coffee is shown to be extremely helpful. Gabby from Playa del Carmen. Gabby, I thought for a moment you're going to say you're my friend Gabby from the Playa, which is Burning Man. I have a dear friend named Gabby. Playa del Carmen. Where is that, Gabby? Alcohol does me bad too. Isn't it? I know, Faith. It's rough. What's a good natural decongestant? That's a great question. I'll tell you a great thing to do for nasal congestion. Really is nose breathing. So once it's clear, you want to just be breathing through your nose. That'll be good for your immune system and good for your breathing. I like to tape my mouth closed at night before I go to sleep. That way I'm breathing through my nose at night. I wake up with fewer sore throats, and I just feel better. I know that's not the question you're asking. Once your nose is clear, I would really recommend taping your mouth with masking tape or medical tape when you sleep, and then you sleep better and breathing through your nose. It takes about a week to get used to. It took me about a month, but most people report a week. As far as a good natural decongestant, I don't know. Sauna might be helpful. Are Smarty Pants vitamins good for kids and adults? I don't give recommendations for children. I specialize in helping older people and people prevent Alzheimer's disease. And so I'm not specialized in children and what's best for them. I don't know what vitamins are best for children. Best thing for anxiety and depression: exercise and do something helpful for the world. And so depression, interestingly, a couple of experts have said this, and I agree that it's a lot of times it's anger turned inwards. So people are angry about something and they haven't done something about their anger, and so they've turned their anger inwards and they're depressed. Depression is also the result. And by the way, if you have clinical depression or anxiety, I recommend you work with a therapist or a professional. I'm not giving professional psychological counseling. A lot of people who have depression, it's the result of a small world. And so they're depressed because things in their world haven't gone well. And their world is small. Rarely is someone extremely active in their community and feeling depression. That's rare. Usually the person's at home in their jammies watching uninteresting television and they're bored and they're like, I'm depressed. I don't want to do anything. I have no energy. Life sucks. So do some community service. Get out and just work for a soup kitchen. Muster all of your strength, put on some clothes, take a shower, and go help the homeless or go pick up trash in your neighborhood. I like to do that in the mornings. That just feels good for me. Does it make my neighborhood a little bit more beautiful? Yes, slightly. But really, it's for me because I feel good because I picked up trash. So do something to contribute to your community, and then you feel better. And then you can say, hey, today I picked up some trash. I made my neighborhood nicer. Or today help feed the homeless. Or when you drive around in your car, I keep water bottles. I used to keep granola bars in my car. If I see a homeless person, I give them a water bottle and granola bar. Here you go. That just feels good. And it's really inexpensive, right? Buy a big thing of water bottles from Costco. That's like $12 for 20 bottles. Buy a box of granola bars, and then you're in business. You see someone with their hand out. Hey, brother, sister, you're having a tough time. Here you go. Here's some food. Here's some water. Blessings to you. So get out and do something for depression. And then for anxiety, exercise. Another thing is meditation. I know those are two sides of the same coin. So the exercise actually produces calm by increasing our heart rate, and then it increases something called vasodilation. So imagine our blood vessel like a garden hose. So this is vasoconstriction. This is what coffee does. It shrinks it. So I don't recommend coffee for anxiety. It actually promotes anxiety because it increases blood pressure because it shrinks the blood vessel. And so now you got all that blood in smaller blood vessels, and that increases the pressure, right? But vasodilation, which what exercise does, it increases the size. So now that same amount of blood is in a wider blood vessel. That decreases blood pressure. And so the best thing for anxiety, I feel anxiety later in the afternoons, and usually it's just kind of pent up stress from the day. And so I exercise between 3 and 5 p.m. almost every day, and that helps me so much. So that's the response to anxiety is exercise, and then healthy sleep and healthy food, and not watching the news. I can easily get anxiety if I turn on the news for 10 minutes because the news is scary. The news tells you, hey, all these people who are different from you are plotting against you and want to pass laws that you don't like that are going to hurt you, and these people from different countries are doing dangerous things and they want to hurt you. And here's some dangerous things that happened in your town or your city or in your country today, and it's mostly bad news. It's mostly scary, and I don't find it very helpful. So I just ignore the news. I just simply don't watch the news, and my life is much, much better because of that. So I hope that helps you. IAAM 152. So get out and do some community service, help people, give. If you can't find anything to do, just start picking up trash for 10 minutes a day. Say, for 10 minutes, I'm going to pick up trash, and you'll feel good, at least for a portion of the day, if not the rest of the day. And for anxiety, get regular exercise. Take the time to do it, and turn off the news and turn off electronics an hour before bed. Give yourself a chance to sleep. Okay, so Ehlers-Danlos is a connective tissue disorder, often comorbid with ASD. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I wish you the best. It sounds difficult. Ocean Favor, I found a local organic, happy grass-fed cow, chicken, egg guy. Awesome. Great job, Ocean Favor. I know we've talked about this. That's so important to find local people. Great job. Oh, you'd like this. So at Costco, they didn't have grass-fed beef. And so I talked to the head meat guy. I said, yo, where's the grass-fed beef? Oh, we don't carry it. I said, well, I'd like to request that you do carry it. I'm a member and I want to buy grass-fed beef here. Will you please carry it? He said, I will make the call and see what I can do. He said they need to sell he said that Costco needs to sell $1,000 of bison to keep the bison on the shelves. Right now they sell 1,300. This was a Costco in northern Kentucky. So vote with your dollars. Another great reason to vote with your dollars. So if Costco's not selling enough bison, they take it off the shelves. So I buy bison there because I want to support bison. Bison is better for the environment than cows. It's a healthier meat than cows. Bison are native to the soil in the United States. Cows are not. Cows are brought over from Europe. Cows are native to Europe and Africa. They're not native to this soil in the United States. And so buffalo are native to here. So it's good to eat foods that are native to the area that you're from. And they have smaller hooves. They make less of a hoof print in the soil. They have less fat than beef. They're great. I highly recommend bison. Totally good. And if you're going to eat beef, grass-fed, grass-finished is the way to go. That's better for the animals, better for the world. All right. So we are winding down here. Yay for bison. Bison is my beef. Terrific. How do I cook bison? I like to cook it in a pan, kind of like a burger. And then I'll either put that on like big hunks of lettuce as like a bun, or I'll just serve it like a hunk of meat with a little bit of mustard. All right. It is getting a little bit late here. I need to go check on those nuts downstairs. Hopefully those are getting dry. What helps with memory loss? How can I improve my memory? These are great questions. So exercise is number one. Exercise is medicine for your brain. Number two is get good sleep. Give yourself at least 8 hours in bed, ideally 9. Make your sleep consistent. Number three, clean up your diet, remove the sugars, remove the processed food, and eat more vegetables in particular. Eat more smashed fish, salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. These fish are rich in healthy fats. Your brain is, aside from water, your brain is mostly fat, so you need healthy fats for your brain, and those fish have it. Once again, those fish are salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. After that, practice a regular relaxation ritual. This could be a meditation ritual. This could be journaling. This could be breathing or breath work. This could be a spiritual practice. Could be prayer. Do that most days, at least 10 minutes, ideally 20. It reduces stress and increases our sense of calm and connection with the world. And then you can look at some healthy supplements. Magnesium is a great place to start. Magnesium glycinate is highly bioavailable. Magnesium threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier. That's good for your brain. Research on Alzheimer's patients finds that on their brains finds that their brains are deficient in magnesium. Also, they're high in aluminum. So you want to reduce your exposure to aluminum. Start by not getting an antiperspirant with aluminum in it. And then some other supplements are lion's mane and curcumin and bacopa and huperzine A, and if you can find it, aniracetam. I know there was a long list. It was fast. If you want that full list, 2 resources for you. So there's a couple of free resources below my profile under my link tree. This is really good stuff. First, if you're committed to weight loss, Chad Tackett is one of the world's leading experts in weight loss. You can apply for a free strategy call with his weight loss, with one of his certified weight loss coaches. And those calls are by application only. He's only got a few spots available, and you'll get a free weight loss roadmap. So that's really cool. And then if you want to work with Chad's team, you can do that. And that'll come in the call if you're interested. So that's one resource. Number two, if you are interested in supplements, I just mentioned a whole bunch. If you're interested in knowing my top 10 supplements, where I get them, what brands I like, and why I buy them, and where I buy them. So all the information you need to get them yourself. I put that in a free report for you. It's my top 10 supplements. That's underneath my profile. Just go to click the link and then go to the webpage, enter your name and email. I will email you a copy, and feel free to share that. I want you to have that and share that with people who will benefit from it. Also, if you're interested in improving your memory, which a couple of you just asked about, also brain fog, you can watch my masterclass, my free masterclass. Watch this for free. It is how to prevent Alzheimer's disease. That is below my profile as well. Same story as with the top 10 supplements. Simply enter your name and email, and that'll take you to the video, and you can watch that, take some notes on that. If you have long haul virus brain fog, you know what I'm talking about. If you have long haul virus or have long haul virus brain fog, there's a free masterclass in my profile, under my profile link. It's at the very bottom. Excuse me, and it says back to 100 with it says long haul virus masterclass with Dr. Linnell King. He's from Johns Hopkins. He's very cool, very smart. So you can register for his masterclass as well. All those are free resources. And is there one more free resource? I think there is. Let me look. So tonight we covered magnesium, the optimal dose of magnesium, approximately 300 for women, 300 milligrams, 400 milligrams for men. I take about double that because I think that dosage is too low. Plus, I don't know how much my body's absorbing when I take it. So I'm taking approximately twice that. Check with your doctor to see what's right for you. I don't know what's right for you. I'm just sharing what I do. I take mine morning and the evening, when I first wake up and before I go to bed, and throughout the day. And then we talked about the RDA and about how the RDA really hasn't been updated for a while and it needs updating. And then we talked about high fructose corn syrup and why that's so dangerous and why putting it in these processed foods is harming people and what to do about it. Oh, my YouTube. Right. So if you want to watch this full live, this was a great one. We really got into some great science here. If you want to watch the replay, you can skip around and watch this or listen to it as you drive. By the way, I totally recommend subscribing to YouTube. This has been a game changer for me. YouTube has so many great free documentaries and free podcasts and free resources. I was just listening to a longevity podcast earlier today as I was driving. So you can download stuff from YouTube, and so you can listen to it while you drive or while you travel. That's great. And no commercials. That totally changed my experience of YouTube. Not having commercials is totally worth $10 a month by far for me, because it makes it a much valuable resource and much more enjoyable to listen to. So I recommend subscribing to YouTube as your own, as a source of education and information. And you can listen to this live or a bunch of the other lives free and commercial free on YouTube. So subscribe to that. That's below. That's in my link tree. And you can also subscribe on my YouTube station at Robert WB Love. Also, Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Robert WB Love. Please subscribe on multiple platforms. That way, I've gotten shadow banned on TikTok. And so when I post about some health stuff, and so I want to make sure that you can still get the information I put out. So just to be sure, I'd recommend subscribing on multiple platforms. And what else? The Patreon's there. If you want to be a financial sponsor of the show, that's really helpful. Patreon patrons, it basically gives me some income from this work that I do with you and allows me to invest more time and energy into doing these lives and making videos. So you can become a Patreon patron there. And those are all the free resources under my link tree. Do y'all know where the link tree is? It's below my profile. Let me know if someone's having trouble with that. Good night, Lucky Crystal. MC2O is a great appetite suppressant. Yeah, totally. It's great. Hi, good dogs. Where have you been? Do I have things about detoxing? I'm in conversation with a just get an ad blocker. I haven't found that works on YouTube. I think it's worth your $10. Not telling you how to spend your money, but it's definitely been worth it for me. Plus, you can listen to it as you travel. That's even more valuable. So if you commute to work, if you commute to the gas station, or if you go to the grocery store and you want to listen to education as you do it, you can do that on YouTube if you subscribe, because it allows you to download the stuff. Otherwise, you got to keep the app open, and that doesn't work. So if the ad blocker works, that's great, but that's not going to get you. It's not going to give you the ability to travel and listen to YouTube. I'm not sponsored by YouTube, by the way. I'm just telling you, this has been a game changer for me. Like $10 a month has totally changed my experience. What's that a day? 30 cents a day to be able to download and listen to YouTube documentaries for free. That's been great. Melatonin for kids, don't take it. So Freestyle 808. Do not give melatonin to children. Dr. Andrew Huberman, neuroscientist at Stanford, mentioned this. Melatonin's a hormone. Oh, by the way, it's getting late. Where are my glasses? I'm going to put on my blue blocker glasses. So melatonin's a hormone, and we don't want to give hormones to children. That can mess stuff up. I highly discourage it. Would I consider making a list of podcasts and books I recommend? Yes, I was going to make a list of documentaries specific to food. I'm going to start with that one. And then I will make some other ones. I'll probably put that in a free report similar to the top 10 supplements. That way you can just download it. Yes, there is evidence of aluminum to health conditions, specifically Alzheimer's disease. So in recent dissections, this is research from 2005. I just shared this earlier. They looked at 3 brains that had Alzheimer's disease, 3 brains that did not have Alzheimer's disease. The Alzheimer's brains had significantly higher levels of aluminum in 5 areas of the brain. So aluminum is associated with Alzheimer's disease. What supplements do I recommend for hair growth? I could certainly use them. I would love supplements for hair growth. Collagen and biotin. Collagen helps with skin, hair, and nails. I've gotten everything, and it's great. Thank you. Awesome, Kylie. Kylie, awesome. I'm glad you got the things you signed up for. Supplements for excessive sleepiness or drowsiness. I'd recommend exercise and a regular sleep-wake cycle. So get really good sleep at night, and that'll help with excessive sleepiness during the day. And limit your naps to 30 minutes. Longer than that can interfere with other sleep. All right. Toya Brown, I'm going to send you an email right now. I'm glad we finally got this. All right, Scott, if you're here, we've been working for 20 minutes I've been trying to get someone's email who's missing something important. All right. So, Toya, your email is tabsings@gmail.com. I'm sorry about that. All right, I will send that to you as soon as we are done here. Awesome. All right. So to end, we are going to practice some awesome breathing. If you're having trouble sleeping, if you're having trouble with anxiety, if you want to improve brain health, this is great because it increases calm and relaxation. This is really great. This is one of the most powerful things. This is perhaps the most powerful tool that I know of for self-regulation, the ability to regulate yourself, your body, and your emotions. And I learned this from Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist at Stanford. He's got a great podcast called The Huberman Lab. Here's how it works. It's the double inhale, slow exhale, what he calls the physiological sigh. Yes, MCT powder is great, Phoenix. So the physiological sigh, it looks like this. Basically, you want to inhale about twice as long as you exhale, twice as long as you inhale. So imagine inhale for 4, exhale for 8, for example. We're going to do this 3 times. And when you double inhale, you want to inhale like 80% of full capacity, pause, and then the rest. So something like that. And that double inhale really does some magic in really filling up your lungs and producing this great relaxation. So we're going to do this together, and we're going to do it 3 times. All right, so sit up in a good posture, back straight, And here we go. So inhale, pause, inhale the rest of the way, and slow exhale. Once again, inhale, pause, rest of the way, and slow exhale. Last one. Inhale, pause, inhale, and exhale with a sigh. All right. How do you feel? If you want to type, if you want to respond, please drop something in the chat. How was that? By the way, I do that before I go to bed, and that helps me relax. He calls it the physiological sigh. You almost passed out. Oh my goodness. You got dizzy. Well, try doing that a couple more times. Breathwork might be helpful for you. Please do it in a safe place where you're sitting. Don't do this while driving. Don't do this around water. And see if you get benefit. Seems invigorating, not calming. Really? Definitely feels calming to me. Should be relaxing. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. I love doing it only with my nose, though. Great. It helped. Awesome, Jaguars. Terrific. So that's a really powerful tool. Please practice that on your own. I will often do that before I meditate or during my meditation. It just really helps me get grounded. Um, so if you want my top brain supplements, go below my profile. You can download my top 10 brain supplements for free. I'd recommend doing that. Um, if you can get aniracetam, that might be good for day trading. My guess is day trading is probably really stressful. So I'd do something to manage your stress. Make sure you're doing enough exercise. Okay. Fantastic. All right. This has been lots of fun. Have a wonderful night. Get really good sleep. If you're having trouble with your sleep, try practicing the physiological sigh, which we just practiced, and get some exercise during the day and get a regular sleep time. It makes such a big difference. I will see y'all tomorrow. It's been so good spending the evening with you. God bless you. I love you. Have a great night.
The reason why this client and like you
go. I ripped my bag.